Alright, now it's time to talk about dependencies in Terraform. Now what if I want to create a resource before another resource? So for example, I want to create the database first, then I will create the web server. Okay? Now in Terraform, you know that the order does not matter. So if I create a resource here, so for example, if I create a resource here, okay, and I create another resource here, for example, now actually this and this resource are not ordered. So this is not the first, then this is the second. No, actually maybe this is the first, this is the second, or maybe this is the first and this is the second. There are no order at all. Okay, now how to do such a thing? We will use the attribute depends on. Okay, now follow me. So here, actually here, let's create AWS instance like this. Let's create it DB or name it DB. Now this is the database now we are using. Now again, let's put the AMI and I will get it from here. So actually if I go to the EC2 and let's take this Linux AMI from North Virginia. Okay, now this is the DB and let's put the instance type to be T2 micro. Okay, now actually I will use the same thing for the other resource, which is this one. All right, but the thing is here, let's put it AWS instance, and but this time this will be for the web. Okay, so you can see this is for the web. Okay, and this is for the DB. So this is the database server. Let's imagine it is on as a monolithic. Okay, so it is not an RDS, it is a server and it has the MySQL installed there. Okay, for example, and here is the other thing or the second thing, which is the web, and this will use the database. Now if I let it as is like this, actually it will not work. Maybe the web it will create first, then this DB, or maybe the DB will create first, then the web. Actually there are no order. So actually I will use something called DB, depends on. But for that, let's put tabs here actually because it is more elegant. And here let's put something called depends underscore on, and it's equal, and this is actually a list. Okay, and we will put the AWS instance dot DB like this. Okay, so this resource will not be created because it depends on the AWS instance DB, which is this one. So which means that this one will be created first, then we will create the web as second thing. Okay, so as you can see, it depends on. Actually let's have a look here. So let's clear the screen. Now let's put terraform in it here first. Let's initialize the script. All right, now terraform apply. Now you can see that 2 resources will be added. If you scroll up a little bit, you can see that the first one, which is web, the first one, which is the DB, as you can see, and then the web. Okay, so let's type yes here. Apply, cancel. Let's put it again. Yes. So you can see that it will be start creating. So if I go here, or you can see that it will start with the .db first. Okay, why is that? Because we have this attribute depends on the AWS .db, which means that this has resources depends on. Okay, which is this one. So this will be created first, then the second one will be created secondly. So if I go here to the EC2 instances, to the running instances, you can see that the creation has been completed successfully. But anyway, you can see that DB is created first, then web will be created secondly. All right, now one last thing, actually, when you apply, you can see that the DB will create first, then the web will be create secondly. But when you destroy, actually the web will destroy first. As you can see, the web will be destroyed first, then the DB will destroy secondly. Okay, why is that? Because you cannot delete DB while web is depends on. Okay, depends on DB, so web is depend on DB, right? So how come you can delete the DB first? No, you need actually to delete the web, then you delete the DB.